Hello everyone, this is the second discussion video that we're making, and this time we're going to be talking about YouTube and its incredibly flawed copyright system. Now let me just say for the record that I am not opposed to a copyright system entirely. I think it is a very good idea. I think it is important to have because you gotta have a way to find a way to stop people who would want to upload copyright content in its entirety without it going noticed. I know it's important, I know it's important to have. But that said, the way they're currently doing it and the way it currently works is not good at all.
What would you say are the problems with it?
Well, the biggest problem, I think, is that it works on a system of guilty until proven innocent. And what I mean by that is, whenever any sort of company finds a video of yours and they think it's copyrighted and it has stuff they own, they immediately can just take it down, and what you have to then do is you have to file a counter notification and wait a while before they finish looking through it and working it out. And in some cases, if it's a serious video takedown, you could actually end up going to court over it. And the problem with this is that they take down the videos first, and only then can you argue your case. So it's not innocent until proven guilty like it would work in real life. You have to actually show that you're not at fault here, all the while you're still being punished.
Well, how do they define copyrighted material?
Copyrighted material is basically stuff that they own, like a TV show or a movie, a form of media.
So if you post something that's a TV show or a form of media that's copyrighted, and they take it down, isn't that consistent with the rules that they have?
Well, yes, but there exists a thing called fair use, which determines whether or not the way you use something is within law. And it's determined by 4 factors, which I have written down here. 1, the purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature is for non-profit educational purposes. That basically means, what is it being used for? Is it used for something like critique or news or education or something like that?
Well, doesn't that specifically say education?
Well, education, it says including, meaning those are 2 just examples there.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2, the nature of the copyrighted work. That means whether or not it's private, like the original material is private, and whether or not anyone even had permission to put it out there in the first place. Like, that doesn't apply to a TV show or a movie, really. So that one's the easiest to get past most of the time. 3, the amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. That means how much of it is there, how much of it has been used and has been exposed for the world to see.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, the percentage that you're using, percentage of what you're using compared to the whole.
Yeah.
Sure.
4, the effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work, meaning, will it benefit the work or at least its creators in some way?
Or will the market for the copyrighted work decrease because of what you're doing with it? In other words, people want to watch what you've done with it more than the original work. That's how I interpret that.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the 4 factors that define what fair use is. And the way it should work is that when a company copyright claims one of your videos, they should have to be the ones who first put out why they think it does not meet those fair use things before they have the right to say your video gets taken down. Then you should have to make up a defense for yourself and argue why you think you're in the right. But the problem is, the companies don't even have to put forth an argument in the first place. Like, when they first copyright your video, when you look at the status in your email or your YouTube thing or whatever, it doesn't say this was taken down because it does not meet these standards of fair use. It just says it was copyrighted and taken down.
That does seem a little strange to me, that they give you no reason other than it was copyrighted.
Yeah, and sometimes it gets incredibly confusing on different levels as well, because, like, multiple times, as some of you may know, I own another YouTube channel where I make videos involving SpongeBob a lot. There was a couple of times where one of my videos was taken down, and in the little like thing where it shows you the details, it shows what the copyrighted work was that was being identified. And most of the time it would say something like SpongeBob SquarePants this episode here. But a couple of times it had SpongeBob SquarePants and the German name of the episode and its German description. Apparently they thought that I was using the German translated episode, but I was not. They not only did they not know what fair use was and how it worked, they did not know what I was using at all.
Well, let me ask you this. How many people would you guess, or do you know, because I do not know, how many people post things on YouTube? How many channels or how many people's accounts, however you want to define it?
You mean like overall?
Yes.
Millions. Hundreds of millions.
That's what I would guess, that they're probably, I don't know about hundreds of millions, but probably hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of different people posting things.
Yeah.
Right? So if we go with that, I think it's probably unrealistic to think that YouTube is going to hire enough people to police it.
Well, yeah.
It would break the bank. They couldn't afford it. So they probably have a program or a bot that goes through and just looks at everything and tries to pick up on certain flags or signals. And if it finds those flags or signals, whatever they may be, it identifies it as copyrighted and against the rules of YouTube.
That may be how it works, but the problem with that is the bot just takes the video down instantly, and that's not a good idea, because that means that it's possible that the company isn't even at fault, because it's just the bot screwing things up, because the bot doesn't even send them a notification saying this video was taken down, this video looks suspicious, do you want to take it down for reasons? No, it just, if it takes it down instantly, then it doesn't even need to provide a reason to. If it works completely automated, it doesn't even have to care about whether or not it's legal.
Yeah, well, and I think you're right. You're removing judgment out of it, and you're just having the bot take certain actions based on predefined criteria, which may or may not apply. But back to the other question I asked is, how else would you handle it? Because I can't imagine that YouTube or any company would be able to afford to hire people, humans to make those decisions. It would, with the hundreds of thousands or millions potentially of people posting things, the sheer volume of material to go through is just more than anything less than an army of people could handle. And so I think the bot, from an economic business standpoint, is the most realistic solution.
Well, if you're going to do that, here's what I'd have them do. They'd have it so the bot just doesn't remove videos entirely. What it does is when it detects a video that has that material in it, it sends the company a notification saying, this video looks suspicious because it has this copyrighted content of yours. You might want to take a look at it to determine what you think. So that way it would give them the URL to the suspicious video for them to look at and actually decide whether or not it's actually within fair use.
Understood. So the company being the one who owns the copyrighted material?
Yeah.
An extra cost that they would now have to bear to hire somebody to respond to those notifications from YouTube. Who pays for that?
Well, yeah, but if they're going to be so serious as to reinstate their claims the first time someone tries to send a counter notification, or even send someone to court, if they're going to threaten them with that, then they're already having people that manage that sort of thing.
I don't know the staffing needs for that sort of activity, but I would think that very few of these cases come to the lawsuit level. And if you had to hire people to deal with the ones that, with anyone that was notified and flagged, it would be a significantly larger number of instances or cases that you'd have to deal with, as opposed to those probably pretty rare few that actually get to court.
Well, look at it this way. It may be a bit more expensive to hire people to look at it themselves, but it's more lawful. If they're not going to look at what's going on for themselves, and if they're just going to have their bots go on these witch hunts and take videos down whether or not they're actually legal, then that could possibly get you sent to jail. And the companies, even if they did have to hire extra people, they would avoid more legal stuff that way. They would actually get a better reputation for themselves, because quite a few of these companies have gotten really bad reputations among YouTubers, including myself, for all these takedowns, and they're actually hurting their businesses a lot more by doing this than if they just spent a bit more money to hire people to look into these things.
I wonder if there are people around, or who are out there, or perhaps yourself at some point, who would create some sort of channel or server, website where people could post things and not have it taken down. Maybe you could design, or you could design what you might consider a more fair way to cull out those videos that are posted that are indeed in violation of fair use, and do it better than YouTube does it.
Well, yeah, but you're basically asking someone to create a site that is as accessible as YouTube, as well known as YouTube, as easy to use as YouTube, and also comes with the benefit of having a copyright system that is not legally sketchy. You're basically asking them to make lightning strike twice, but now with extra flash. That's not easy to do.
It's not, but if it's an important enough issue, if enough people care about it, then you make the channel or the website, and if it's as big an issue as you're saying, all the people that have a problem with it, I would think, would flock to that website as opposed to YouTube, because it would be more fair.
It would. And going back to the thing you said earlier about hiring people to manage copyright stuff and how expensive that would be, I'm pretty sure that there already are people they hire that manage the bots, because I have a theory that they have to specifically time when their bots run their scans on the website, because it was just a couple weeks ago that I got a copyright claim on one of my videos. And a couple days after that, I got another copyright claim. And here's the interesting thing. Usually the copyright claims I get on my videos are ones that are older, but one of them was a newer video, which already struck me as odd. And a few days after that, I noticed that this internet reviewer I really like, known as the Mysterious Mr. Enter, was dealing with copyright issues of his own to the point where his channel has now been taken down. And just yesterday, or this morning actually, I noticed that I had another copyright strike on one of my videos, and now my channel is down as well. So if they're running these scans, if the bots are running these scans, they're obviously not doing it all the time, and they have to have people specifically check to see when they're running and choose specific times when to run them. So they're already doing that. And this isn't the first time it's happened, by the way, because back when my channel first got taken down in September of last year, at the same time, another person who makes videos similar to me, known as SpongeShow1, had his channel taken down as well.
So it sounds like this happens often.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Sounds like if you have one of these channels where you're doing these kind of videos and making this type of material, it's not a matter of if, but when.
Yeah.
So something you probably should keep in mind as you're making this, as you're putting all this work into it, is that it seems like there's a pattern going on, and unless you figure out a way around it, it'll continue to occur.
I'm just all I can really do is just deal with it as it comes.
Well, an issue that certainly hits close to home for you, I can tell.
It does. It really does. And I've also I've heard some people make the argument that sometimes when people take down when YouTube takes down the videos of certain internet reviewers, it might be because the reviewers are being too hard on the people that made the work itself. If it's a negative review of their work, then they might be too angry towards the the creators on a personal level and they might not like that. But if that was the case, they would have flagged the video for abuse or spam. They would not have flagged it for copyright. Like, this is a point I've seen made before on the mysterious Mr. Enter, not ignoring the fact that the video specifically where he was rather angry towards someone was not one of the copyrighted videos, and ignoring the fact that he's gone on the record before to say that it was a stupid mistake by him and he does not want to ever do something like that again. I went to his channel, he even said it on his DeviantArt page, he was taken down specifically for copyright infringement.
Well, that makes sense. I can't imagine that they would be able to take a video down or any material because it's someone voicing an opinion about somebody else. It might not be a nice thing to do. It might make you come across a bit antisocial or a bit jerky, but from a legal standpoint, freedom of speech, you can say anything you want about your assessment of another person, whether you like them or not, you don't, you think they're good, smart, whatever. You can say those kind of things. How it reflects on you is another matter, but legally you can say things about someone as long as it's not threatening. So I would tend to agree with you.
What he said did inadvertently lead to people attacking the guy on his Twitter feed, but that I don't think he intended for that to happen, actually.
Yeah, I would hope not.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to bring up?
No, the only thing I'd bring up is that clearly this is a big issue. It affects a lot of people, a lot of channels.
Yeah.
And a lot of the companies own the copyrighted material, and I don't know what the solution is, but I sort of go back to, it seems like this has happened before, and it'll probably happen again, so I just wonder if there's another solution out there, as opposed to continually having the same thing occur. If there's a true solution to have this stop happening in the future.
Well, there are solutions that are trying to be made, because there's a website dedicated to YouTube poop called YouTube, where poopers can upload whatever YouTube poops they've created, and they'll be safe there. It's like a safe haven for them. They have to upload them to a different site first in order for YouTube to track where it is, but it does not have to be YouTube. It can be something like Vimeo or Dailymotion, which Mr. Enter has moved to, by the way, while his stuff is being taken care of. Same thing with people like the Nostalgia Critic or the Angry Video Game Nerd, when internet reviewers when they started off on YouTube, they had to deal with copyright stuff, but they started their own websites, and now they don't have to worry about that sort of thing as much. So yeah, solutions are being made. It's going to be a while until someone can create another site that's as accessible, easy to use, and well known as YouTube, that also is also not legally very sketchy.
Well, good luck with that, and good luck with getting your channel back.
Thanks. So this has been the second video we made where we discussed something. Hopefully we can come up with another good thing to talk about. I'm glad that this time I was able to cut the word out of my vocabulary a lot. So
I think you need to cut vocabulary out of your vocabulary.
Oh god, did I say vocabulary?
Maybe.
Darn.
I could have misheard.
Darn it. We'll see you next time.